Hi, this is Mr. West, and today we're doing a Khan Academy tutorial on multi-step linear inequalities. This was a special request by the Chatta family. If you have your own request for a video or a worksheet, please leave a comment, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. In this exercise, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be solving linear inequalities. It's very similar to just equations. We're going to be trying to get the variable by itself. So if we're looking here, really the only difference between an equation and inequality is this. And there's one extra rule that we'll need to apply if we get there. So the rule is if we multiply or divide, okay, by a negative, we need to flip the sign. So this is something to keep in mind, that if, for example, we divided by negative, we would change the sign to that in that step, okay? So just keep that in mind. That's in the back of our head. I don't think we need it for the first one, but let's find out. So we have a variable on both sides. You can see that we have d on the left and d on the right. The strategy here is to go for the variables first. If you get the variables together, we can kind of take less time, and it requires less steps than if you're to do something else. So what I'm going to do is I like moving the smaller one. The smaller one is negative 98d, so I'm going to add that to both sides, just because I like to work with positives when possible. So I have negative 23 plus 98 on the left, and that is going to give me 75d plus 81, leaving everything else the same, less than or equal to, and that is positive 1. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 80. So I subtract 80 from this, and I get 75d is less than or equal to, whoops, I don't know why I subtracted 80. I should have subtracted 81. Let's go to subtract 81, and I get negative 80. I think that was in my mind. And then what we're going to do is we finish this off by dividing by 75. So we divide by 75, divide by 75, and we get d is less than or equal to 80, negative 80 over 75. Here's the thing, though. It says reduce any fractions to lowest terms. So what we need to do is we need to find a common factor between 80 and 75. I'll give you a hint. It's going to be 5. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to divide 80 by 5 and 75 divided by 5. So to reduce this, divide the top and bottom by the same thing. And we get 16. 80 divided by 5 is 16. And then 75 divided by 5 is 15. So we have negative 16 over 15. D is less than or equal to that number, and we can just leave it like that, okay? It doesn't say convert it to decimals or anything, so we're just going to type it in exactly how we see it. And let's go D. We're going to use less than or equal to sign, and then we need a fraction, so we're going to put the fraction, and then we need a negative. I like to put the negative in top. We could put the negative out in front, but we just need one. If you put it both in the top and bottom, that's going to be wrong. We'll check it, and we're good to go. All right, next one. Same thing. We're going to try to get all our variables together first. Okay, very similar problem. This time it's a variable p. You can see we have variable on the left, variable on the right, so we need to get those combined first. I'm going to add 7p to both sides because I want to move the smaller of the variables. Negative 7 is smaller than its coefficient. Negative 7 is smaller than the other coefficient of the other p, which is 26. So I'm going to add 7p to both sides, and I get negative 4 is greater than, and that's going to give me 33p minus 94. Okay, from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 94 to both sides, and this time I get 90 is greater than 33p. I need to divide by 33 to finish this problem off, and I have 90 over 33 is greater than p. But I'm going to see if I can reduce it. They need to have a common factor. They do. I can divide it by 3. So I divide it by 3, and I get 30 over 11. Those don't have any more common factors, so 30 over 11 is greater than p. So we're going to type that in as our answer. Now, we could switch it around if we wanted to, but might as well just keep it 30 over 11. Move it to the right. Is greater than p. Double check. All right. Move on to the next one. Okay, so far we haven't had to divide anything, which is kind of nice. But let's check to see if we need this one. I like to move the smaller of the two p's. Okay, no, actually, so this one's going to be the same deal. I'm going to show you where we can divide by a negative number. Okay, so actually I'm going to add 48 to both sides, 48t. This is not always the most efficient way to do it, but I just want to do this for this reason, just in case we don't get a problem where I need to divide. So I have 2 is less than or equal to, and then I get negative, I think that's 33, no, 23, t plus 14. Okay, just double checking that negative 71 takes a 3. Yep, that's 23. Okay. So next up, we're going to subtract 14 from both sides. I get negative 12 is less than or equal to negative 23t. Now, we want to get the t by itself, so we need to divide by negative 23. Notice this is the first time this is happening, where I'm dividing by a negative. If we do that, we need to flip the sign. So I flip the sign, and then I'm going to write everything else the same. I have 12 over 23, and I have t on the right side, okay, because those canceled out. So this is a very key step here. If we divide by a negative, and it's only by a negative, all those other problems I've been dividing by positives, and we get the sign flip happening. And the reason why is because we can rearrange these, okay, and it's kind of like moving the sign. So if you divide by negative, you need to flip the sign to make sure it stays how it should be, okay? So 71 was the original coefficient. I'm just checking my answer here. Okay, so I'm going to type it in just as I see. So I have 12 over 23. And then we have greater than or equal to. Where's that button? Right there. Whoops, I forgot to move it over. Greater than or equal to, and then t is by itself. And let's check it. All right, cool. Last one. This one looks the easiest, which is great. I'm going to move the smaller variable. That's 4x. We get 4 is less than or equal to 5x plus 8. And what do you know? We have one of these ones where we get to subtract 8 from both sides. Okay, so we get negative 4 is less than or equal to 5x. And then we're going to divide by... oh, we don't flip the sign with this one either. So we get x is greater than or equal to negative 4 over 5. This one's short enough where I could show you why it works out either way. So if I were to move the 9x, we get negative 5x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 8. And then we subtract 4. We get negative 5x is less than or equal to positive 4. If you were to just divide by negative 5 here without flipping the sign, take a look. You get x is less than or equal to negative 4 over 5. Not greater than or equal to. See what the difference is? So it's very important that if you divide, okay, because we followed all the rules right here. We didn't do anything out of the ordinary, no negative like division or anything. So if you divide by a negative number, very important that you flip the sign. Okay, so that's why I wanted to show that. Okay, so then we have x is greater than or equal to negative 4 over 5. So x is greater than or equal to, I typed the wrong one. I said the right one. Negative 4 over 5. Negative, and then where's my fraction? 4 over 5. If I can get it. There it is. Just double check. All right. And there we go. So that was multi-step linear inequalities. Thanks again for the video request. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to check out my playlist or go ahead and search for any concept that you need. And I look forward to seeing you next time right here on Wes Explains Best.